Hey guys, it's me, Holly Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm continuing my reaction series to Girls Next Door. We are on season 4, episode 10. This is called Wedding Bells, and I'm already into it a little bit. The whole cold open was just like a previously on Girls Next Door, which we rarely did. I think this was maybe the first time we did a two-parter, with the exception of like Hef's birthday, which was the first episode for season 2. That was divided into 2 parts on TV. But I don't know if it is on the DVD or certain streamers. I think it wasn't when I watched it. But I'm gonna get some powder for my face because I'm looking at the monitor and I'm really distracted. Sorry, I've only been doing these videos, reactions, and nothing else. I've just been busy with this upcoming project. So eventually I'll get back around to it. Has anybody else been feeling weird on social media lately? Like the algorithm everywhere is just kind of not what it used to be? Or is it just me? I don't know. It opens with such a pretty shot of the Sandals Resort in Jamaica, and a guy's out there like raking the sand on the beach to make it perfect. Ugh, it's just so pretty. So one of my favorite things on this trip was they had 2 macaws on the property named Jazz and Pizzazz. So I always visited them every morning to give them an almond. They were very cute. It's sad to see sometimes birds in captivity, they will develop this thing where they pluck out their own feathers. There were a few like that at the mansion too. And they just get anxious, you know, from not being in the wild. The wild. Sometimes things will come out of my mouth and I'm like, that didn't sound right. What was that? Also, I'm getting a zit. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. My hair just doesn't even look like hair. It's all humid out, so it's all kind of like curling up and it's just so white. It's nuts. I mean, it looks like it's ready to snap off. Like I'm looking. So when we would go on these trips, they would set us up with massages, meaning the film crew. And I didn't think of this at the time, but I discussed it with Bridget after. Back when I reviewed the episode where we went to Vail to go snowboarding, they had rented us this condo and they set us up with massages. So we went back in to get the massages. And I thought, oh, wow, you know, that was like the luxury treatment. Like they didn't always like treat us like that. Like they had everything set up for us. That's so cool. And Bridget was like, yeah, I think they were trying to get some nudity because we were all bundled up in snow clothes. Of course that's what it was. Of course that's what it was. Another thing I think of when I see these massages on the beach is we did this for my spinoff Holly's World as well. We did an episode where we went to Mexico and they had like the outdoor massage set up for me and Josh, but it was literally a 5-minute massage. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna go film you guys getting massages, and it like lasted 5 minutes. I don't remember if we were like running behind on filming other things or what it was, but we were like, okay. It's kind of a teaser. This is such a good commercial for this resort. Like it makes me want to go. Oh my God, they cut to Kendra's confessional interview in the game house, but it's the one that's set up weird. I've talked about it in a video before, and it just looks like grandma's attic. Like there's some arcade games behind her, but the rest of it looks like grandma's attic. And it's like poorly lit. So they're cutting back to another conversation with Hef and Mary in Mary's office. He's looking over a Playmate layout. It was Ida Lundqvist. I don't think I'm saying her last name right. I'm sorry, Ida. But a Playmate pictorial I'd worked on. And yeah, I have more mixed feelings about the ladies in the office recently because I've had some conversations with people and, you know, going over stuff that happened back then. And I've come to the realization that I was thrown under the bus a few times by people in the office. So I mean, it doesn't really change my feelings about anybody particularly in the office because I liked all those people and, you know, they did so many great things for me as well and definitely helped me out a lot. But yeah, there's just some things come to light. Like there would be instances where, you know, I wouldn't get along with a certain girl, or a certain girl would be really hostile to me and I wouldn't know why. And now I'm starting to like hear this feedback that like, they were trying to get a certain car and they were told they couldn't get that car. And the person, the secretary in the office they talked to, and I'm not even sure which one it was like, oh, you can't have that car. Holly would have a fit. Like as if I have any say over it. But I feel like everybody, you know, wanted to make things smooth for Hef and protect things for him. So just like the way he would like to pit everybody against each other, like so he didn't have to own up for anything. Like there was this one time a girl one of the girls out of the 7 was testing for Playmate and she didn't make it. And I remember I saw the memo as to why she didn't make it and like the criticisms from the other editors and stuff. So it had nothing to do with anything political. It was just like not fitting like that really narrow cookie cutter mold they had back then. But I guess she was told, like Hef told her, oh, you're not getting it because your 2 friends in the group said that they would be upset if you got it and they didn't. So it's just like all this like hostility and everybody hating each other and blaming each other because they think they're not getting what they want because of the other girls and not because of like the ultimate decision maker. So I'm just like looking at the office scenes and kind of like rolling my eyes a little bit. Oh my gosh, and then we were on floaties out in the ocean. It was so nice. Okay, so then we decided to go wakeboarding. And I don't even have the core strength, or didn't back then, to stand up on a wakeboard, but I still had fun and I tried it anyway. And it's just like an example of how like if we had to do something, if I was physically capable of doing it, like I would try it and have a good time. I wouldn't be like, those girls want to go wakeboarding, it's not cool, not fun. And this is another thing, just like ziplining in the last episode, where I feel like you couldn't do a show like this today because it's just like, oh look, we're gonna go do a fun activity. But there's like no drama behind it and no story really. It's strictly, it's almost like those old travel shows they used to have. Like, remember Samantha Brown on the Travel Channel, or like Wild on E? Like this is kind of like an outgrowth of that, I feel like back when people were still entertained by just seeing people like travel and do things on TV. Now you just see this content like in tiny little clips on social media. I'm wearing the giant Dior sunglasses that were in style at the time. I called them Jackie O's because they looked like old school Jackie O sunglasses. And it's one of those things that I think I should still have. Like I think I saved those because they were kind of my staple sunglasses at the time. But guess who can't find them? Sorry if I'm not so high energy today. I'm filming this on a weird day. I'm filming this on the day that like Roe v. Wade got overturned and supposedly it's a portal today and just all this weird stuff. So I'm just kind of like feeling a little out of it. You know what's weird is like usually when we would do these kind of activities, like the more like, I don't know if you call this like an extreme sport, but like stuff like that, Bridget was always the best at it. She was like the least scared and like the most athletically inclined when it came to those things. But they showed Bridget doing it and then they show Kendra doing it and they keep cutting back to like everybody on the boat like cheering her on and hyping her up. But I don't think it was any different for either of them. It's just like they cut it to make it look like Kendra's was more exciting. I could not stand up on the wakeboard and I love it because they're kind of giving me like circus clown music in the background and I'm kind of digging it. I'm watching myself do it and I can like remember how it felt. I just could not stand up on it. But everybody was like super supportive and trying to give me tips and like cheering me on. Everybody had my back. Love that. I can't even swim at this point in my life and I was still trying to do it. I just felt like with that life jacket on, I just felt like a turtle on its back. You know what I mean? It's always a theme when we're traveling and trying to get a hold of Hef. I think in the Alaska one we were fine, but every other time it makes it so like the calls are failing and the calls are dropping. And I think they really were here. But it was kind of like, I was a little bit anxious because we would schedule these times to call him so we could get it on camera in Jamaica, but it would be a convenient time for him back home where they maybe also could get it on camera. So I'm trying to make the call and the call's failing and I'm like nervous because I don't want to get like yelled at by the crew or anything like that. Like I don't want the scene to fall apart because my call's not going through. So there were a couple girls hanging out at the mansion. There was Michelle, a playmate, and 2 women who were testing. And we thought it would be funny, us, the girls, like we came up with this idea in Jamaica. We're like, you guys should film Hef like as if he's hanging out with other girls while we're gone and make it like a little funny drama thing. Like that was our idea and we were totally into it and thought it was funny. And I do think it's funny. I think it's a cute little plot line. And then it shows Carlina, the butler, picking up the phone and she can't hear us because the connection's bad. And I go, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And we're just like, if she can't hear you, Hef's never gonna hear you. It's crazy looking at Hef's room when the other girls walk in. I remember I organized his room once, which was a huge task because he had stacks and stacks of like VHS tapes everywhere. And even like by the time we're filming this, it's a couple years after I did that. And it's like people give him like framed photos as gifts all the time and paintings and art and stuff. And there's just stacks of it in his room when you walk in. It's crazy. You know, for all the staff he had, he should have had somebody who's just constantly like filing stuff for him. Like, gifts you want to keep, gifts you don't want to keep, gifts you want to act like you're keeping, but you're not really keeping. And just like putting stuff where it was supposed to go, or donating it, or putting it in storage, or hiding it, or whatever they needed to do. It's weird that he didn't have somebody to do that. Okay, so Hef and the girls are sitting in his bedroom watching something, and it looks like a low budget pop music video for kids. And like, I can't figure out what it is or why they would be watching it. And I'm wondering if maybe it was something the producer plugged in. Like maybe the producer was trying to like do a show with the girl who was like in the video or something. So he put that in there, because you can't just show anything, or you'd have to like pay for the rights to use it. But it's not the type of thing Hef would ever watch or like want to show people. So I'm like, what is that? And he's really looking at the TV and smiling like he's into it. And I wonder, was that what they were really watching? Or was it something like the producers plugged in late? This is so weird. I need answers. So my maid of honor dress, I picked out myself because my sister was just that low key about it. I'm like, what do you want me to wear? And she's like, wear whatever. Wedding color is orange. So I went to one of my favorite stores, Just Cavalli, and got this orange dress. I kind of like it because the print looks kind of corally, beachy. So that's what I picked. But there has never been a more easygoing bride than my sister, because who would ever just tell the maid of honor, oh, pick out your own dress, anything's fine. And it could have been an awful choice. I mean, looking at some of the stuff I wore and some of the, you know, barely covered up things I used to pick out on a normal basis, she was brave. She was brave to put that decision in my hands. My sister was obsessed with The Little Mermaid when she was little, and I feel like her hair is kind of like Little Mermaid reminiscent. Like it reminds me of that moment where Little Mermaid puts like the flower in her hair for a second. I don't like that when I'm zipping up my sister's dress, they really zoom in on the area I'm zipping up. Like you don't see anything, but you could have. I don't like that. She didn't sign up for the creepy cameras. So it shows everybody seated, and then Bridget and Kendra are coming out at the last minute. And I remember Bridget telling me a story where they were shooting like on the fly interviews during that time, and the producer was freaking out because he was like seeing stills from the shoot and saying he didn't like the way it was set up. And Bridget said they almost missed the wedding because they were held back so long because he was like throwing fits about the interviews. And I don't know that any like on the fly interviews from Jamaica with us were used. He must have really hated them. But I heard it was big drama. When my dad walks my sister up down the aisle, after they stop, she goes, thanks. They're talking about my sister's husband's parents crying during the wedding. When my kids get married, I'm gonna be a wreck, you guys. I'm gonna be a wreck. Oh my God, like hide my face in shame now. I'm gonna be a wreck. Oh my God. They cut to an interview in the game house and Kendra's wearing the Rasta wig again. It's back. There's this weird shot where my sister and her husband are cutting the cake, and I'm like, and they're under this like kind of cabana thing, and I'm like peeking out from behind the corner. It's so weird looking. Somebody asked if it was rum cake, and I remember we did this whole scene where we did like a rum tasting on the beach, and that wasn't used. So then it shows me like making a short little speech for my sister, and then it cuts to me in a confessional interview, and I go, we were all having so much fun at the wedding, but everybody really wished Hef was there. But I don't think we were. Like, not to be mean, but it's just like a lot, you know, to keep everything up to his standards and stuff. Like, we were fine being there by ourselves. Then there was a little photo shoot moment with my sister and her husband. They got very cute photos on the beach. So it shows me holding the bouquet. And throughout this episode, everybody was joking like, oh, I'm gonna try so hard to get the bouquet. And I don't know if I was thinking about something else or I missed it, but did she just like hand it to me? I think she just handed it to me. Oh my God. And I'm saying, if anybody wants a bite, I'm taking a bite of all the desserts. And the desserts look so good. I had a really skilled way of dieting, but yet still somehow enjoying the good foods. and I need to like remember what that was because it worked really well. And today I am struggling, okay? Oh no, never mind. I was holding my maid of honor bouquet, and my sister's just now holding her bridal bouquet, and she's like, I'm just gonna toss it to you over the table. Oh my God, so then there was like a party at the hotel after, out on the beach, and they're showing this guy like limbo under this burning stick. It was so crazy. Oh my God, so then they, I don't know how much they had to pay these people at the resort to play the song The Bunny Hop, which is this old song from like the 40s that All the Way Ray Anthony wrote. And that was just something the producer threw in for us to do, I guess. A Chevron Cars commercial came on. I didn't know they had brought the Chevron Cars back. I thought those were so cool when I was younger. So we finally got through to Hef via the landline, and I had to drop the news that I caught the bouquet. Watch out, everybody. Trying to pack when you're leaving a vacation is so much harder than packing for it. Like, even if you didn't buy anything, you just can't fit everything back into your bag the way you did the first time. I don't know why that is. And then I'm trying to pack up like the framed photos they gave us, and it looks tight. And then like Kendra's sleeping in, and I'm trying to wake her up, and I'm like, we have to leave in 20 minutes, and 10 minutes we have to have our luggage out there. And I hate that because I hate getting up in the morning, so I know how it feels. But I also hate the anxiety of like getting to the airport on time, and like the fear of missing a flight. And I have anxiety about like airport security and stuff. And then Rory, the butler, comes in and shows us the paper, and he's like, you're on the front page. And it's us in those dreaded Rasta wigs. And that was the same picture that was on the gossip blog. So we are back at the mansion, getting out of the limo, greeting Hef in our Rasta wigs. Those things are not dying. Oh no, we got Hef a Rasta wig too. Okay, so sorry if I didn't have a lot to say in that episode, didn't have a lot of tea to spill like the last episode. It was just like a nice episode for me because it was great seeing my whole family and my sister's wedding, and we all got along really great on that trip and had so much fun. I mean, I think the only negative thing about it, other than them trying to zoom in when I'm zipping up my sister's dress, is the dreaded Rasta wigs are back. Why are they dreaded? Refer to my last reaction video. But anyway, yeah, best was like seeing my family, the wedding, and just what a nice little video memory my sister now has of her wedding. And the worst were those darn Rasta wigs. So I will see you guys next time. I'll have a lot more to say about this next episode, so I'll see you guys then. Bye.